You're watching ABC4 News, celebrating 75 years.
In national news now, the labor market still hot. U.S. employers added another 300,000 new jobs to the economy in February. This according to the latest federal jobs report. Raquel Martin is in Washington, D.C. with the story.
Well, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. While economists say a strong jobs report is always positive news, it also presents some challenges for the Federal Reserve, which is currently trying to tame inflation.
I think we got a good jobs report.
While the more than 300,000 jobs added to the economy last month is a dip from January's robust job gains, President Joe Biden says the latest data proves the economy is healthy.
Because of our economic plan, unemployment has been below 4% for 14 straight months.
But the unemployment rate did grow slightly from 3.4 to 3.6%, and wage growth also slowed down. Economist Michael Gapin says both are early indications the Federal Reserve's efforts to cool down the economy could be working.
On the margin, that's good news for inflation, but I would say that the battle is certainly not yet won.
He says that cool down could also be good news for borrowers. After this week, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell warned the central bank could raise interest rates more aggressively if the job market remained too hot.
They probably don't need to do that. They can continue to move in 25 basis point increments or quarter point increments from here.
The central bank already increased interest rates 8 times in the last year. This week, Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren cautioned Chairman Powell not to go overboard and hurt the most vulnerable workers.
If you continue raising interest rates as you plan, unemployment will be 4.6% by the end of the year. About 2 million people who would lose their jobs.
Chairman Powell says raising interest rates is a necessary evil to bring down inflation, which is currently hurting the most vulnerable Americans. The Federal Reserve is set to announce new interest rates when they meet later this month. That's scheduled on March 21st. For now in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Raquel. Well, now to the 95th Academy Awards airing Sunday right here on ABC. Preparations for the Oscars in full swing with the night just 2 days away. Now, it's the biggest night in Hollywood where millions will be tuning in to watch the stars and, of course, which films and actors will walk away with the coveted Oscar statue. Jimmy Kimmel hosting for the third time. Kimmel already cracking jokes about last year's jaw-dropping moment when Will Smith slapped comedian Chris Rock after a joke about his wife Jada.
I can't get slapped. I cry a lot.
This time around, show producers are prepared if something goes awry.
They formed a crisis team to deal with any issues that might come up that are in any way similar to the slap. So that's been a significant development, that they'll be around ready to handle the untoward moment should it happen.
All right. As for what is planned, some big name performers are set to take the stage, including Lenny Kravitz and Rihanna. All 23 awards will be announced live this year after the Academy faced some backlash for pre-taping some of the winning announcements last year. All right. So be sure to tune in this Sunday. Really, we have the full day covered for you. ABC4 News will start an hour earlier, though, at 4 p.m. And then we'll have the pre-coverage of the Oscars following that, where the actual event begins at 6 o'clock.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
All right, let's head back over for another look at the weather. Alana, we have kept you so busy this week.
This storm definitely kept me on my toes, but yeah, throughout the week we saw a snow squall, we've dealt with thunderstorms, we've had wicked winds, you name it. Utah's seen it, or at least a portion of Utah has seen it. This is what it looked like when the cold front was coming through Davis County. Check out that shelf cloud. That cold front really meant business, bringing with it a line of thunderstorms, cold air behind it, and the showers and wicked winds ahead of it. This is what we saw in the last several hours. Now, the showery activity really didn't pack that big of a punch until the front came through, and then you saw all of that moisture. And tonight, that is really focused on Salt Lake County and Utah County right now, as well as on the eastern side of the state towards Duchesne, Vernal, Flaming Gorge, and in the West Desert over in Tooele County. So we're not completely finished. No, not at all. And the cold front moved through and opened the door for colder air. This is what it looked like. Sardine Canyon, our very own Kate Garner shooting this very safely as he was driving actually, he wasn't driving, but he shot this safely. But my point is we had slush on the roads, and you could see whiteout conditions. Thank you, Cade, for sending that our way. We've already picked up really great precipitation totals. 3/4 of an inch over that in West Valley, over 1/2 an inch in Manti, 4/10 in Beaver, 3/10 in Helper. Look at Logan getting 3/10. Salt Lake International getting over 1/4 of an inch right now. We're not done with wet weather, but we see really healthy totals, 1/4 of an inch at the Provo Airport. Zion getting some wet weather. So throughout the state, that valley rain, mountain snow setup definitely benefiting us. Now the winds, well, that was a different story. Look at this damage coming from Don Can, Sandy. Goodness gracious, we had very gusty conditions knocking down that tree, but we saw several power outages and strong winds throughout the day. 60-mile-per-hour gusts in Salt Lake. Logan clocked a 57-mile-per-hour gust. Delta had big numbers. Cedar City, Hanksville. So we know those southerly winds really came through. And tonight, we just saw there was in south central Utah, we had a wind advisory, but they've canceled it as the winds have relaxed just a little bit. That front changing the wind direction, bringing the winds in from the northwest as opposed to the south. Storm Tracker radar shows a lot of mixed precipitation out there. It's that sloppy mix. We've got rain mixing with snow as the radar sweeps the area. What you're seeing in green from Salt Lake all the way down to Spanish Fork is rain in the valleys. And then we've got mountain snow, and any place where we've got cold enough air, like the benches, we do have some accumulating snow. Sandy seeing some of that tonight. Central Utah still staying active, and then down south in the southwestern corner of the state, it's more scattered, but we still have precipitation. And scattered's going to be the name of the game as we get through the weekend. All this moisture is coming from the Pacific. Atmospheric river just funneling that moisture into the Beehive State. So moisture potential out there, and that front just adding that extra layer and providing the lift for the thunderstorms that we saw. As we head through our future cast, give you an idea, this is by midnight. Just after midnight, you still see central Utah and the southeastern corner of the state dealing with a lot of wet weather. It's a mix of rain and snow. Snow in the mountains, rain near places like Monument Valley and Bluff. And then we get very showery activity as we head into tomorrow. Now, we notice that northern Utah can't be ruled out of the mix for an isolated shower, but a lot of this moisture is going to focus on central and southern Utah as we make it through our Saturday. Cloud cover will still be out there. We'll be unsettled in the north, but we see a lot of that activity in central and the south. As we move into Sunday, we hold on to the potential for additional wet weather, and it slides a little further north. Notice there could be some snow showers, mixed precipitation. Those chance of showers hold on for our Sunday. We're going to see very active skies at times, periods of precipitation. It's heavy mountain snow for the high country where we are picking up decent snowfall. It is snowing very heavily up at the Cottonwood Canyons, and you can see those winter storm warnings for central and southern Utah holding on tonight. Okay. Temperatures will be a little cooler today than where we were yesterday. 30s and 40s as we head into tomorrow. 58 in Moab, 40s for the I-15 corridor, 60s in St. George. And as we check the next 7 days in Washington County, you see the chance of rain holding on. Monday and Tuesday, we dry out and we get some warmer temps. But then another system comes through Wednesday and Thursday. That system will also impact the north. When it does, it moves in a little earlier, so Tuesday night. And we could see those scattered showers holding on through early Thursday. Hey, don't forget to set your clocks. Unsettled weekend ahead. So much going on. I feel like
so much going on.
I've got a deck of cards and I just keep turning them over. I'm like,
what's next?
You know what? Daylight saving. You know what? We got some rain. It's just like keeping it really, really, really busy in the weather.
We've got a lot of stuff going on over here,
yeah,
too.
You do.
Yes, you do. Games going on as we speak.
Even as we speak. Yeah, 3 local basketball teams trying to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive. Utah, Southern Utah, Utah Valley, and Utah State. Well, the BYU football team wraps up the first week of practice. We'll hear from the Cougars coming up next in sports.